Well, developing right now, we know an 18-year-old is charged with attempted murder. That's after a shooting at a Murfreesboro extended stay hotel. The shooting happened last Friday at InTown Suites there on Old Fort Parkway. Kendall Lucky is now facing 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder and several other felonies. He and an acquaintance were both shot and taken to the hospital for treatment. Police arrested Lucky after he was discharged. Now, they do say the shooter may have acted in self-defense. They say this investigation is ongoing. And 2 people are now recovering after multiple gunshots were fired at an apartment complex in Murfreesboro. We know some people living at the complex tell us they do not feel safe any longer in their own home. The shooting happened Monday night. This is at Brookwood Apartments on South Rutherford Boulevard. One neighbor tells us a driver pulled into the complex, blocking his truck. 2 men with guns surrounded the car and started shooting at 2 others inside. Well, both victims were visiting a friend at the complex. We know the man who witnessed the shooting says he's amazed that he and his girlfriend managed to get away.
They drove off and left. The guys took off running. I was going to pull off, and then someone told me to stop and look at the truck. Well, I looked at my truck. It had been shot. So I backed back up where I was at and just waited.
It's not safe, you know, and what you witness here. You know, I go armed. I have to. I have no choice.
Right now, police say they are looking at surveillance footage to try and identify those shooters. Anyone with information is asked to call Murfreesboro Police this morning.